All right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to have you once again on The Truth with Ben Jokes, your number one political talk show. Now, the hardship in Nigeria is spreading like wildfire, and only those earning very high income are able to stand unfazed at this period. And as you know, very high income earners represent only about 1% of the country's population. So you can see the percentage of Nigerians that are affected by the failure of government's economic policies. Then we have insecurity that has eaten deep into the fabrics of this country. It is not enough that Nigerians can no longer afford the basic needs of life, which are food, clothing, and shelter. Now their very lives are being wasted in scores daily. But these were the things we envisaged last year that made us say we needed a change of government. We knew that under the APC, Nigeria could only get worse. We knew it. So we encouraged Nigerians to reject the APC. And Nigerians did. But there were few who put their businesses, their tribes, and their religious interest ahead of national interest. And they gave APC the support upon which they stood to manipulate the entire process. And here we are today, a nation in turmoil. 2 days ago, Yoruba groups that backed Tinubu during the campaign last year came out to speak against his administration and called on Yorubas nationwide to rise against Tinubu during the proposed fearless protest in October. And few hours ago, two prominent Nigerians who supported this regime because of their business or tribal sentiments have now come out to brutally and publicly condemn the administration. Yoruba General Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Gani Adams blasted Tinubu for his failure and told him to expect crisis. And Nigerians were like, wow, even you, Gani Adams? And just as Nigerians were yet digesting that, UBA CEO Tony Elumelu opened up on Tinubu's failure in the area of insecurity, saying nothing can be achieved if the country is not secure. Then Shettima came under serious criticisms, heavy criticisms, after he visited flood victims in Maiduguri and promised to give them rice. And Nigerians were like, rice again? Before I show you details of these updates and how Nigerians reacted, let us listen to the Secretary General of the National Parent Teachers Association of Nigeria as he describes the calamity befalling Nigeria in this video.
The situation we found ourselves today is a pathetic situation whereby every parent is not having it easy. We are having sleepless nights. Before the current recent increase in the price of petroleum products, people are managing to at least send their children to school. Now with the increment, everything, even toothpick in Nigeria, the price has doubled or tripled. Likewise, the cost of sending your child to school. If you have children about 5, 6 scattered around public schools, now let us even talk about the area of public schools, that every state government or whatever are saying is a free and compulsory basic education. How do you transport them? How? Because the pump price now is alarming. Last week on Friday, I happened to visit one of the commercial banks. The queue of parents I saw waiting to access a soft loan to complement their salary to pay the children's school fees is alarming. In fact, some banks turn down requests that they don't give such soft loans, because you collect, if you are collecting the loan, you are collecting based on your supposed income. The increase of minimum wage, the what have you, that has not been realistic. How can a bank give you a loan on that? My children.
Right. Let me
we are saddled with this problem. Yeah.
If I may very quickly, so how are parents, adjusting to this new realities? Are they coming up with any kind of, creative ways to ensure that these kids don't add to the already bloated numbers of out-of-school children in Nigeria that hovers
The
somewhere
number
around
is
15 million already.
Please, the number has already started increasing, because you that went round to Abuja to assess the resumption date, you could see a school that has a population of 2,000 or 1,500 naira, 500 pupils. You hardly see 800 in the school. What happens to the rest? So you add this and aggregate round the country, then that is the number you're having at out of school children. It has started already.
You heard that. That was Mr. Ibrahim Nabai, the acting Secretary General of the National Association of PTA, Parents Teachers Association. The number of out-of-school children is growing very rapidly as we speak. Last year, UNESCO said we had 18 million out-of-school children in Nigeria. I wonder what the figure will be now that the school fees are times 3 and even times 4 in some cases of what they used to be. Transporting pupils and students to school now costs 3 to 4 times as much as it did last year. The cost of feeding those same children is now 3 to 4 times of what it was last year, and pray that they don't fall sick. Because to treat malaria in Nigeria now is a big deal. The money for proper malaria treatment in Nigeria today would buy 2 bags of rice under Jonathan regime. What a disaster. And in response to all this, the Yoruba Generalismo, Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Gani Adams, who supported Tinubu vehemently during the campaigns last year, cried out publicly a few hours ago. He said the country is sinking. And before we knew it, another update dropped. The CEO of United Bank of Africa, UBA, Tony Elumelu, who also backed Tinubu during the campaigns last year, called out the Tinubu regime for their failure in the area of security. Let's begin with the update from the Yoruba Generalismo, Gani Adams. Look at how the papers reported it. Tinubu's government becoming indifferent, insensitive, unresponsive, Gani Adams. The Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, Iba, Gani Adams, on Tuesday, lamented that Tinubu-led administration is becoming indifferent, insensitive, and unresponsive to the plight of Nigerians. Adams, in an open letter titled "Bola Tinubu, Time is Going," also said the present administration has disappointed Nigerians, adding that the citizens can no longer bear the economic hardship. He said, "We have no regrets that we were created to inhabit this geographical space in the West African axis of the African continent. We are happy to be here because I don't know any country in the world that God has blessed in terms of natural and human resources like Nigeria. When you came with the Emilokan coinage in the build-up to the 2023 elections, many Nigerians were persuaded that as a Democrat exposed to the modern way of governance, you will perform better than Muhammadu Buhari, a soldier who deepened the poverty levels of Nigerians and increased insecurity from 2015 to 2023. Today, events have proved that they were wrong. Tinubu, to say the truth, without minding whose ox is God, you have disappointed many Nigerians who thought you were the Messiah they were waiting for. The facts are there to speak for themselves. On May 29, 2023, when you became the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, the price of a liter of fuel was less than 200 naira. Today, it is more than 1,000 naira. As the Minister of Petroleum, I ask you, what type of reform is this? In May 2023, the naira to a dollar was less than 740 naira. Today, it is more than 1,600 naira. Now, your 2 right-hand men, when you were governor of Lagos State between 1999 and 2007, Wale Edun, finance minister, and Yemi Cardoso, CBN governor, are in charge of the economy. What exactly are the fiscal, economic, and financial briefings they give you daily to convince you that they know what they are doing in those 2 offices? When Buhari left on May 29, 2023, many Nigerians heaved a sigh of relief that insecurity would soon become history. Pitiably today, from the north to the south to the east to the west, the rate at which Nigerians are being abducted and some killed Even after ransom was paid, it is as if these bloodthirsty maniacs have just been unleashed on Nigerians from the hottest part of hell. In August, many Nigerians came out to express their frustration on the way you are governing them. Today, some of those arrested have been charged with treason. In the Committee of Nations, who does that? Is that the way governments are overthrown? With placards? Many Nigerians know the radical role you played when you were governor, and even after 2007, when you galvanized and mobilized them to challenge the status quo at the national level. Now that you are in government, protest has suddenly become a criminal offense. God is indeed great. The plain truth is that the recent fuel price increase by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, an agency which is under your office as the petroleum minister, is an attack on Nigerians. Obviously, your administration is becoming indifferent, insensitive, and unresponsive to the plight of millions of Nigerians who can no longer meet their daily needs. This is a brutal assault on the sensibility of Nigerians. I think you and your party should be sensitive to the plight of Nigerians. Mr. President, don't you think the wicked and draconian increase in the fuel price, especially at this time that Nigerians have been pushed to the wall, is a huge recipe for crisis? Nigerians can no longer bear the economic hardship any longer. Wow, what a read. Now, that was one of the most respected Yoruba elders alive, Gani Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land. That is the Yoruba warrior general, blasting Tinubu there. And this just adds to the long list of many Yoruba elites who have rejected this administration. We are waiting to hear a reply from Bayo Onanuga. He hasn't mentioned Peter Obi since Obi filed a lawsuit against him. So only God knows who Bayo Onanuga is going to blame for this outburst by Gani Adams. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions to Gani Adams' outburst. This tweet here by Ola Kolawole says, "It is just too much. Basic needs, transportation too high. If you collect 5,000 naira, it don't finish fiam. God, I beg." And Alabi Oloyede here says, "This is what I expected from Yoruba leaders. Don't baby Tinubu and call him out without bias." But Sarki Suleiman here thinks differently. He says, "A fool he is. He was amongst the chief back dogs for the same Tinubu during the election campaigns and after too. A fool, I say." Wow. Suleiman is not holding back from blasting Gani Adams. He's saying that after pushing this administration to power, you cannot just turn around and try to be a good man because you are criticizing him. And Dada Sadiq here says, "I am sure he has only one term in office. There is nothing like second term, so he can do whatever he likes." Dada Sadiq is saying for sure that Tinubu won't get a second term. Of course, no reasonable Nigerian would want that. And just as Nigerians were busy reacting to this open letter by Gani Adams, this update on Tony Elumelu dropped. If you recall, not too long ago, Elumelu, a very good friend of Tinubu's, openly challenged his government to tell Nigerians, those who are stealing the nation's crude oil. He said the government knows that the government should open up and tell Nigerians. He is at it again, telling Tinubu to fix security issues in Nigeria. Look at how the papers reported it. Food scarcity, prioritize security, Elumelu tasks Tinubu. The chairman of United Bank of Africa, UBA, Mr. Tony Elumelu, has advised Bola Tinubu to prioritize security to address the current food scarcity and attract investment into the country. Elumelu gave this advice at the annual conference of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, on Tuesday in Abuja. To protect our people, feed them, attract investment, and foster trade, we must prioritize security. Insecurity has become a national crisis which must be dealt with decisively and urgently. Our people deserve to go to their farms unhindered, live peacefully, and conduct their lives and businesses without fear. It is the fundamental right of every citizen," he said. Wow, Elumelu, you are the one now telling Tinubu what to do. I thought you said that he knew everything. You came out of the villa after the first week of the swearing in and you said that this man had all the answers. That was what you said. Now you are the one coming to tell him what to do in the area of security. Wonders, they say, shall never end. That rift between Tinubu and Elumelu that is bringing about these repeated attacks from Elumelu, one day the world will come to know about it. The two of you cannot hide it forever. And just as Nigerians were pondering on the repeated attacks on this regime by Tony Elumelu, this update on Shettima dropped. Look at how the papers reported it. Shettima promises Maiduguri flood victims 50 trucks of rice. Kashim Shettima visited Maiduguri on Tuesday to sympathize with the people of Borno over the Alau Dam flood disaster that displaced thousands of people. Mr. Kashim, who led a federal government delegation to the beleaguered city, was received by Governor Babagana Zulum, who took him to the palace of the Shehu of Borno, Abubakar El Kanemi, which was also hit by the flood. From the palace, Kashim Shettima drove to Bakassi camp, where thousands of those displaced by the flood were taking refuge. Mr. Shettima told the distraught victims that the government would support them with 50 trucks of rice. Rice. I have never heard this kind of thing before. You give them 50 trucks of rice to do what? How are they going to cook the rice? Flood has just destroyed their homes. They have nothing with them right in that camp. The ones that were able to survive are the people you are saying there. They don't have any property left. And you are saying you want to give them rice. Many of them there are going crazy. You are not bothered about their mental health. And even their physical health must have deteriorated. Those are the things you are supposed to be looking at. How to quickly resettle them as soon as possible. And then you are talking about rice. Any form of feeding that will come to them should even, their food will be prepared by the government. You prepare food and bring to them 3 square meals complete. They are not even supposed to worry about how the food is being prepared. And you are coming to talk about donating trucks of rice to them. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Hassan says, insecurity, rice. Fuel scarcity, rice. Flood, rice. High cost of living, rice. Protest, rice. Dollar hike, rice. Federal Republic of Nigeria. And Josie said, no, Federal Republic of Rice. And he said, thank you for the correction, bro. That is it. They believe that every problem answers to rice. That is what the APC believes. And this tweet here by Ada says, what has rice got to do with flood victims? Did they use rice to swear for Nigerian politicians? What is this? It beats my imagination. And Jeje of Lagos here says, that should do it. Rice is the gbogbo niche of APC government. Any problem you present to them, they believe that rice can solve the problem. And Adekunle Gbadamosi here says, this one that you guys are throwing rice at every problem, what exactly is the issue? My brother, help me ask them, because I don't understand anymore. And Grant here says, where are the team of doctors for the injured or the sick? Makeshift camp. How about a plan to get them back home? Just rice and life is good. What a shame. And Bluebird here says, rice seems to be the solution to everything under this Agbado administration. This is ridiculous. So ridiculous, my brother. Saint Amaru says, rice is always the solution for APC government. If you get headache, na rice they go give you. I'm telling you. And Olorugun here says, every response from this government seems to be rice. These flood victims need better welfare than just distributing rice to them. Wait, distributing rice to them to do what? What do you expect them to do with the rice? May they just keep them, they look them like film, eh? This is the most shocking thing I've heard in a very long time from this government. And it is not that they don't know what to do. You may think it's cluelessness. It's not totally about cluelessness. They know what to do. If they don't know what to do, their own children will not be schooling abroad. If they don't know what to do, they wouldn't cough and immediately run outside Nigeria to go and treat themselves. When it comes to taking care of themselves, they know exactly the state-of-the-art facilities to use for themselves. But But when it comes to the common man, they will start throwing solutions that will make you laugh, that will make you giggle. It is because they simply don't care about the people. And that is what we keep saying. These people will never show us care. They will never free Nigerians from these shackles. When Nigerians are tired of being treated like slaves in their own fatherland, then they will unite and take their country back. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.